Hello guys, this will be the Freeform tutorial. This is Aaron and we're gonna have a look at some of the features, but I'm gonna tell you just their names right now. So for example, we have draw, which we can just draw whatever we want. We can do scribbles and anything, pretty much. And then a text box, in which we can double tap to add text and the single tap to edit, and then links, which are just pretty much everything else. Now, like and subscribe to support me, please. Just asking that, but thank you for your attention on the forward. Now let's get to the actual video. So now drawing. So what you're supposed to do, press the pencil thing. There will be 13 types of drawing. What is the right? So with the text boxes, we can just click the letter A thing to insert a text box. We click on it one time to edit the text box configuration, and then we can click on it 2 times to actually add the text. Now let's move on. If you see the thing that kind of looks like a type of staple, then that's just everything else if you're on split screen, even if you're not in split screen. So that's pretty simple. Anyways, if you see the circle that's behind a square, then that's the shapes menu. You can look at that to see shapes and a shortcut to the content hub, is the logo that has the squares overlapping each other, like in layers. Now, that was simple too, so anyway, let's move on. Do you see the thing that shows a rectangle that's over a text box and the text box says we can consider that to be Gorem Ibson the Tetiao du Simon for now, but that doesn't matter. So it's the same as the text box, except it takes up more space than an actual text box. So let's move on because that's almost the exact same as the text tutorial, but just as an extra, you can also double tap shapes to put text inside them, I think. It's the exact same thing as the sticky note. Do you see the thing that shows a rectangle that's over a text box and the text box says we can consider that to be Gorem Ibson the Tetiao du Simon for now, but that doesn't matter. So it's the same as the text box, except it takes up more space than an actual text box. So let's move on because that's almost the exact same as the text tutorial, but just as an extra, you can also double tap shapes to put text inside them, I think. It's the exact same thing as the sticky note pretty much, but yeah, for now. Anyways, let's move on. Now that I think we're actually done with all of the text features. There was kind of a realistic shadow too, I noticed. Anyways, let's move on. Because this is exactly the same as some things. But let's not think about that. Anyways. If you saw the square thing, like or 3x2 or a 2x3, then you can click that and you'll get a table. It's a new thing, kind of a new thing. So anyway, let's get to it. And then it generates a 2x2 table, and then you can edit it because the thing, the configurations are shown for some reason. They're just shown, and anyways, they're just that, and you can fill them in with anything you want. That's simple. Let's move on to simple. And the staple appears once again. Anyway. And then we finally have the overlapping squares. And then the overlapping squares, those are just a bunch of hard to make art things that are pre-created and are there just for you. But if you see a squiggly that goes whoop to the right, whoop down, whoop to the left, whoop up, whoop right, whoop down, and whoop left, then that is blocked by a paywall, unfortunately. And if you don't know what a paywall is, it's just a subscription. It's another word for subscription, a synonym. And synonyms are words that mean similar things. So anyway, that's the Apple content creator thing. But that's not only for content creators on YouTube, it's also Apple content creators. Like people who make stuff on Freeform, for example. That's what we're learning right now. Anyway. And now the other section. And this is just a bunch of important random stuff. And by random stuff, I don't mean just your drive-in definition of random stuff. It might be random, but it's still important. The undo button, which looks like a U-turn facing to the left, kind of, with an arrow on the top line, or the view, or whatever you call it. And then the dot dot dot, it's pretty much just a bunch of other stuff like find, math, and everything, yeah. All that other complicated stuff. And then we have the thing that looks like the pencil. And if you click that, it'll just create a new board. That one was simple. So let's move on to the scenes. This one is only useful for presentations and other similar stuff, but it's still kind of important. So you see that star. You can click the star. You can toggle the scene menu, and then you can click the thing that looks like the reminders app and click the plus or add scene. And then that's only useful for presentations, but it's kind of complicated. It just kind of takes a screenshot of your current Freeform board, but it doesn't include all the menu and stuff. So that's a scene. Do you see the small 3 connected shapes icon? Well, that is a bit complicated, but it's kind of useful for making diagrams. So what it does is you can click on something and then click that icon that I talked about at the beginning of this voice recording, just this exact voice recording. and then you can just extend in either of the directions that are provided, and then you can click a shape. And then that basically connects related stuff or whatever you wanted to connect. And then there's, let me see, the thing that kind of looks like the freeform board. And if you toggle that, that'll toggle the dots, which are the connectors. And it make it easier to place stuff, the connectors, but you can turn them off if they just look visually irritating or they give you a headache when you look at those. You can just do that anytime. Do you see the V to the right of the tutorial? If you click that, then you'll get stuff like share, the share button, rename, favorite, export as PDF, and print. But there's also a share button next to the undo button to the right. And what that does is it shares, and you can either collab or send copy to the, and if you use shortcuts, then you can use view more or view less if you use those, and there will be below the apps. And the apps, those are the things you can use to share. And then if you see the collaborate thing, you can click that to either collaborate with someone or send the copy of the board you're working on. But don't let them change anything because the changes might be annoying. And then to the left of the V, to the right of the title, no, that's the title basically. But to the left of the title, there's the button that lets you go back to the home screen. And then finally, we have the most seemingly complicated stuff. Importing content from other apps. No, not from the staple thing, but directly from the app. So you can do this with voice memos or Apple Music. And then what you do is hold the piece of content that you want to drag and drop, and then you drag it to your freeform board and just let go or position it wherever you want or edit it and other stuff. The thing with this is that if you update content that you have put in your board, freeform board, right directly from the app that you put your content from, then the thing in the freeform board that shows that content won't update, but that same thing in the app will. So if you try to update something like that, then just delete the one that's not updated and put the updated one in. And then we have the home screen. Let's take an annotation tour with the picture that we have below. And this is the make new board option. This is the random boundary info you already know about. These are the categories. This is the search bar. And voice search. This is just some ordering and all kinds of stuff. And this is the make new board option. It's just a size thing. All the boards, all the boards. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.